Hello and welcome to On the Agenda, semi-monthly podcast by the City of Reno that quickly updates you on actions taken at the recent council meeting and checks in with various departments to keep you up to date with happenings within the halls of City Hall. I'm AJ from the City of Reno's communications team, and with me, as always, Reno City Manager Jackie Bryant. Hello, Reno City Manager Jackie Bryant. That's a mouthful to say.
It is a mouthful. I'm like, just call me Jackie.
But yeah, it's such an official title. I love it.
It is an official title. I'm still get a little freaked out when I see my picture. You know, I'm like, who's that person?
We have a special guest today, as we always do, but a returning guest. Chief Nance will be telling us about a contract the City of Reno just signed for the new drone as a first responder program. But before we get started with that, we're going to hear some highlights from our last council meeting, which was also our last council meeting of 2025.
The last one for 2025. Let's hear a roar of applause, please. And the next one will not happen until January 14th. We like to give everybody a break, so that's a 4-week period. And are we going to do an on the agenda recap, or are we going to do an off the agenda? What's the plan?
Yeah, we're going to do a special edition where we go over the top stories of the year and all of our episodes. There's 20 episodes now.
20?
20 episodes.
All in 2025?
All in 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, we got our Spotify Wrap the other day that says we were a hit show of 2025.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Yay. Okay, well, during the last council meeting of 2025, council approved contracts for the purchase and installation of some field lighting equipment for Hilltop Park in Councilmember Reese's Ward 5, along with a new ADA-compliant pedestrian bridge at Teglius Paradise Park, which is in Councilmember Taylor's ward. So that's very exciting. And what's really unique about both of these projects is that they were funded with residential construction tax. This is a fee applied to new homes or apartments being built, and it goes to fund local infrastructure within that residential area. Council also approved an agreement for the Reno Storm Drain Master Plan Phase 3 study. That's a mouthful. The study takes inventory of some storm drain facilities that we have in Reno. It analyzes their capacity and deficiencies, and then identifies what capital improvements are needed. So the first 2 phases of this study were already completed in Southwest and South Central Reno, and Phase 3 will continue that process in Northeast Reno. And last but not least, Council accepted the findings of our annual comprehensive financial report. We call that the ACFR for last fiscal year, and we cleared that with lots of awards, so that was great.
Thank you, Jackie. We always appreciate the updates. If you want to read more of the highlights, you can check out reno.gov/news. During the last council meeting of 2025, council also approved a contract between the Reno Police Department and Motorola Solutions for the Drone as a First Responder program. Here to tell us a little bit more about this program is Reno Police Chief Kathryn Nance. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming back to the podcast with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I have something exciting to share and get to be here.
You are our 20th guest.
What?
You get a special award.
Shout out.
Well, it's in the mail. Don't worry.
I can't wait to see what it is.
We give you a big old kudos.
Exactly. You just got it.
Or gold star.
Yay!
So let's get started by having you tell us a little bit about this program, the Drone as a First Responder program.
Yeah, Drone as a First Responder is a fairly new technology that we're seeing nationwide in other policing jurisdictions, but we're ready to move forward with that here, and it's super exciting. We are partnering with Motorola Solutions, but really Brink Technologies as the drone provider. And so Drone as a First Responder is an opportunity for when certain types of calls for service occur, we are able to self-deploy the drone, and it will fly to the area where the problem is happening and get first-hand look of what is going on there and relay that information back to our officers that are also responding. Very exciting. So it's a way to improve our response time for calls for service, and really just the broader picture of utilizing our technological resources to improve the safety of our community.
So what are some of the benefits that RPD will see from this program?
There's a few. Number one, I think that everybody's probably the most interested in is the officer safety component of that. Mm-hmm. So right now we rely on information that we've obtained from callers and giving information and maybe some history about a location or a person, but we don't have anybody there that is looking at it from a law enforcement perspective. So with that 70 to 90 seconds response time within 2 miles of the deployment site, right? We are able to get eyes on a scene, and so the responding officers know what they're walking into. So increasing the officer safety, because they're fully aware of if somebody has a firearm, if they're being combative, if they're in a fight with somebody else, they have that information before they get there. So that's it. And then improving our response time. So while that visual look isn't an officer on the street standing there handling the problem, it is somebody there that can relay information. And the drones have first two-way communication. So they have the ability to say, we're on scene, drop the weapon, or, stay in your car, or whatever it is. We can communicate through them to the people on the street to start that process early, to let people know that we're actually there and responding in a very fastidious manner.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of different capabilities from the drones I'm used to of just photos. So can you tell us a little bit about the technology and the capabilities that RPD can use?
Yeah, so we have the ability, obviously, to record these interactions from the time that it takes off until it's back in its home and it returns autonomously back to its space and docks itself and recharges. These are recorded incidents. So if we do have a crime in progress or we need evidence of an incident that's happening, we will be able to keep those recordings. And then if it flies out and nothing happens, it deletes. So we don't have to worry about extra storage, which is great. But it's an opportunity for us to utilize this technology to make sure that we are seeing everything we need to see. It gives a bird's eye view of an incident. So it's not just an eyewitness account or an observation. It's a fuller picture of what's actually happening.
Oh, wow. So it has I was looking at the specs, it's 40 times of a zoom. That's a lot. That's a big zoom. My camera only goes into 5.
You can go through the YouTube videos that Brink has on their website. You can actually see that zoom in progress and see what is actually happening as they're flying over. So that 40 times zoom also has the ability to fly at night and to do night vision, and also FLIR technology to identify heat sources. So if we say we have a missing person or somebody hiding in a backyard, we have that ability also.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And then there's also an option here that we can put in some life-saving measures. So one of the things that we've looked at in conjunction with our medical response teams and fire is if somebody needs an AED or a EpiPen or Narcan, the drone can deploy with that and then drop it down there to help the people that are stranded, maybe even like a backpacker or something like that.
What?
Yeah, crazy stuff,
cool?
right?
That's future. This is the future right now.
It's common. You can DoorDash and get a drone delivery.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine aren't going to do that.
So one question that people always have, what's the timeline and the cost structure for this? So how does that work out?
Absolutely. So we were really lucky to go into contract with Brink and Motorola as a pilot program. So we've met with them multiple times and discussed the city's financial limitations and barriers to creating a drone as a first responder program that we are facing. And they came up with an amazing solution, which is we are operating this as a pilot program for the first year. So it doesn't start technically until that first DFR takes off from whatever rooftop it's assigned to and responds to its first call. So that's day one of our contract. For 1 year past that date, we have the opportunity to opt out if it doesn't work for us, or if we realize we need less sites than we have. We're starting with 4 sites. We think that's a good number to start with. But if we go, we really only need 3 or 2, we can change that contract at no cost to the city for that first year. After that, as we move forward, years 2 through 6, there is a contract. It's about $100,000 per site. And that allows us, though, the maintenance, the insurance, if something were to happen to one of these aircrafts as they are flying, we have insurance on them. If a new one comes out and it's better than what we've got, we get that too. We get that upgrade. And then all the service, software, data, there's a lot of perks to that come with that $100,000. So it's not just the flying machine and the docking base, but it is all those other things. So I feel like it's a very fiscally responsible move for us, because we do know that it's going to be a cost-saving measure in the sense of decrease in calls that officers have to respond to, because agencies that have deployed these have seen about a 25% reduction in calls that officers have to respond to, because they're able to clear them visually from the sky, and a decrease in use of force incidents. And that saves everybody in our community. The less use of forces we have, the less time the officer is spending on those incidents, the less risk we have of an officer becoming injured, and the less risk we have of injuries to our suspects or people that we apprehend. So all of those things are a positive. So I think actually financially, we're actually going to see a cost benefit to having them. And sometimes you have to spend money to make some money. And I kind of think that that's where we're at right now with this. I think this is actually going to save us money in the long run. And it's a great structure of the program. Brink is expecting to build out the drones and start that install process. We actually have a meeting with them coming to do site surveys next week. Very exciting times. And we're hoping to get them up in the air by April.
Sounds like a good deal that you guys got for this whole thing. So let's talk a little bit about how this aligns with the city's mission of public safety.
Yeah, I think that this is one more avenue that we can do to improve our public safety. We have the Real-Time Information Center where we are using cameras and cameras on businesses and cameras that the city has to help us solve crime and prevent crime and watch where problems are occurring. We also have gunshot detection that's coming into downtown that should be up and running very soon. We're in the process of putting that forward into fruition. And this is just another step in that. So this ongoing use of our technology to improve the safety of our community is really our priority.
This sounds like a great program for the community.
It is. And it's, on a side note, it's really cool. I mean, let's be really honest here. It's cool. But you take that cool factor away and cool factors don't get you through tough times. But
right.
Truly, the cool factor is one thing, but the actual work that they're going to do and the ability for us to improve our safety of our community is really what's important for us. And we already have pilots for this. We've already got working on our FAA clearances to make sure all of that is in place. And it'll just augment all the other safety factors that we've initiated in the last couple of years.
That's great. So is there anything else about this program in particular you want to let people know about?
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. The only other thing I'd like to add is that, during this pilot period, it's important for us to really look at what are the results. What are we seeing as the results? So everybody knows I come back to council regularly. I love to be a part of it and give updates. And this is going to be part of our updates. So, a few months after it's in, probably 6 to 9 months after it's up, I want to come back and provide council with a really good update and say, this is what we did. This is how it saved us time, money. This is the calls we got, and talk about some of those successes. And then once it gets launched, we'll make sure that we let the public know. So follow us on our social media feed so that we can make sure everybody's aware that it's up and going. And so then you can look for it over your house flying around, a clearly marked drone that looks like police markings with lights and sirens.
That's another thing people should know is that it's clearly marked.
Yes.
You let everyone know where it's at. It's not like flying stealthily, getting things.
No. And then we're working on what does it look like to publicly publish our flight paths that have happened. How can we let the public know where we were, where it was deployed, and where it was. So if you do see a drone, we do get calls sometimes. People say that a drone's looking in their window or flying over their backyard. We want people to know if it's us because we're not secretive about it. We want them to know we're there. We're preventing crime. And then if it's not, then we can follow the proper avenues for that type of thing.
It's just such a neat program, and I love that we're really investing in moving forward in technology. And one of the other areas where we are enhancing safety is that RPD received a grant from WYZE, W-Y-Z-E Labs, for security cameras. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we received a donation from WYZE Labs, and that's W-Y-Z-E, and that they are providing 250 security cameras, so it's an over $7,000 donation that we're able to utilize through our victim services unit. The primary safety concerns that we see in domestic violence victims is they feel a potential for retaliation, for return offenses, or for stalking type behavior. And if they're moved out, if they're living on their own, sometimes it can be concerning if you don't know what's happening at your residence, who's at your door, if you're not home, or even if you are there. So utilizing a security camera or a doorbell ring camera is very helpful for people to get that feeling of safety and security inside their own homes, which is what we want people to have. So while I encourage other people to utilize the same type of systems, sometimes our victims don't have the financial means to be able to purchase these on their own. So this allows our victim services units to provide these cameras to assist them with their own feelings of safety and security and to ensure that they know what's happening inside and outside of their residences.
That's fantastic. And the program, no charge to taxpayers?
No charge to taxpayers. Amazing donation. We went to council to get it approved, and then we're ready to move forward and hand those out.
It's fantastic. Sadly, though, with that, we are out of time, Chief Nance.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
I can come back next year.
Yeah, next year, literally. We'll see you next year.
I'll see you next year.
Before we go, is there anything else you want to let the people of Reno know about before we get into the new year in 2026?
I think it's just, I want people to know that we are really focused on the public safety aspect of our jobs. That's our number one priority. It has to be as a law enforcement agency. And law enforcement isn't one size fits all. And we're really trying to curtail our response to what this community needs. And each of these programs that I've talked about today, they have a nexus and a need in our community. We're not trying a blanket approach. We're really trying to specifically target what's going to improve safety here. And it's an ongoing work in progress, but we're going to continue to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Before we sign off, Jackie is going to tell us a little bit about what residents can expect to see at the next council meeting, which is January 14th of 2026.
Council will be on break for 5 weeks during the holidays, and we will return on Wednesday, January 14th for the first meeting of 2026. That's crazy. Staff will be finalizing that agenda over the next month, but here are a couple of items that we plan to put on that agenda. One is a grant acceptance from Move United to support hosting a disabled hockey coaching and officials clinic for participants who support veterans. And the child care ordinance that we discussed last week on the podcast will be back for final ordinance adoption. So that will be in place by mid-January. That's very exciting.
That's very exciting. As always, you can check out our website for more information, reno.gov/meetings. And don't forget to sign up for the Reno Report.